Imagine walking down the bustling streets of 15th century Florence. Merchants haggle in markets, architects sketch out new buildings, and artists like Botticelli and Leonardo da Vinci are hard at work, inspired by a wave of innovation. This was the birthplace of the early Renaissance, a period that revolutionized art, science, and culture. But Florence wasn't destined to keep this brilliance to itself. Like a ripple in a pond, the Renaissance ideas spread across Italy and beyond, transforming cities and societies along the way. What made this dissemination possible? How did other cities like Venice, Rome, and Milan embrace and adapt these innovations? And what role did emerging technologies and trade routes play in this cultural explosion? At the heart of this spread was a powerful force, human curiosity and the desire for knowledge. The Renaissance wasn't just about art, it was a rebirth of learning, a return to classical ideals combined with a fresh focus on observation and individualism. Florence's intellectual fervor couldn't be contained. Wealthy patrons, inspired by the Medici family's example, sponsored artists and thinkers, creating a network of creative exchange that crisscrossed Italy. Artists traveled from city to city, and their work served as visual messengers, carrying Renaissance techniques and ideals to new audiences. Trade was another crucial vehicle for this cultural movement. Florence's position as a trade hub connected it to major cities like Venice and Rome. Merchants didn't just exchange goods, they exchanged ideas. Venetian traders returning from Florence brought back tales of perspective drawings and realistic portraits, sparking curiosity among Venetian artists. Venetian traders returning from Florence brought back tales of perspective drawings and realistic portraits, sparking curiosity among Venetian artists. In Rome, the papal court, always eager to glorify the church, embraced Renaissance innovations in architecture and art, commissioning grand works that fused classical beauty with newfound realism. Perhaps the most transformative tool in spreading Renaissance ideas was Johannes Gutenberg's printing press, invented in the mid-15th century. Before this, manuscripts were painstakingly copied by hand, making books rare and expensive. The printing press democratized knowledge, allowing texts on art, science, and philosophy to be produced quickly and widely distributed. Artists and scholars no longer relied solely on word of mouth or slow-moving manuscripts. Suddenly, treatises on linear perspective, anatomy, and classical architecture were available across Europe, igniting imaginations far and wide. Venice, with its strategic coastal location, was one of the first cities to embrace these ideas. Venetian artists like Giovanni Bellini began incorporating Florence's techniques of perspective and realistic human figures into their work. But Venice wasn't just a copycat, it infused these ideas with its own flair. Venetian artists mastered the use of color and light, creating rich, atmospheric paintings that felt distinct, yet clearly Renaissance in spirit. The city's canals and bustling trade routes made it a melting pot of cultures, helping to further refine and expand Renaissance art. Rome, on the other hand, became the stage for some of the Renaissance's most ambitious projects. When Pope Julius II came to power in the early 1500s, he envisioned Rome as the artistic capital of the world. He invited Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling and commissioned Raphael to decorate the Vatican's chambers. These monumental works demonstrated the full power of Renaissance artistry, breathtaking perspective, anatomical precision, and human emotion. Rome's embrace of the Renaissance wasn't just about aesthetics, it was about reasserting the church's dominance through artistic grandeur. As these ideas spread, each city put its own stamp on the Renaissance. Milan became a center for engineering and design, thanks to the innovative genius of Leonardo da Vinci, who worked there for many years. Ferrara developed a reputation for literature and music, blending Renaissance ideals with local traditions. Even smaller courts, like those in Urbino, became cultural hotspots under the patronage of figures like Duke Federico da Montefeltro, who invited scholars and artists to create a vibrant intellectual community. This cultural exchange wasn't limited to Italy. As merchants and scholars traveled across Europe, Renaissance ideas seeped into France, Spain, and beyond. French kings, inspired by their Italian neighbors, began commissioning Renaissance-style palaces and artworks. Spain saw the influence of the Renaissance in its architecture and literature, blending these new ideas with its own Moorish and Gothic traditions. The Renaissance spirit of inquiry and exploration even fueled the Age of Discovery, as European powers set sail to explore and conquer new worlds. What made this spread so dynamic was the adaptability of Renaissance ideas. The focus on humanism, the belief in human potential, and the importance of individual achievement resonated across cultures. Each region took the core principles of the Renaissance and molded them to fit their unique context, creating a rich tapestry of innovation. This adaptability ensured that the Renaissance was not just a Florentine phenomenon, but a European one. While we often celebrate the genius of individual artists and thinkers, it's essential to remember the networks, technologies, and cultural exchanges that made their work possible. Without trade routes, without the printing press, without the movement of people and ideas, the Renaissance might have remained confined to Florence. Instead, it blossomed into a continent-wide movement that laid the groundwork for the modern world. The Renaissance was more than a period of artistic achievement. It was a testament to humanity's endless capacity for growth and adaptation. From the workshops of Florence to the canals of Venice and the grand halls of Rome, ideas spread like wildfire, fueled by curiosity, innovation, and the tools of the time. This journey reminds us that great ideas thrive when they're shared, refined, and reimagined. So, the next time you see a beautiful painting, an awe-inspiring building, or even a book, remember the interconnected world that made it possible. The Renaissance may have dawned centuries ago, but its spirit of exploration and exchange continues to shape our world today.